Money is emotional today on the Daily Ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Daily Ish Show, a show not just for rental housing providers, but anybody who is looking to get more white space on their calendar or just a little bit more control over their calendar. Wouldn't that be great just to be able to have complete and total control over your calendar, having white space, having time wealth? That is what we talk about here. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Dolfini. I'm your host, author of the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, and your coach for today. So today we're going to be talking about Money is Emotional, which happens to be also the name of a book of a good friend of mine, Christine Luken. I'm going to give her a shameless plug right here. This is a great book, Money is Emotional. We're going to be talking about Money is Emotional, not specifically about the book, but I've been actually climbing through a lot of different books actually about money and money matters and things like this. So I'm kind of on this genre for now. So you'll see my stack of guilt here. So I've got Money is Emotional by Christine Luken, which is a fantastic book. Pretty much you can figure out what it's about. You Need More Money. This was a good one by Matt Monero. That wasn't bad. And this one here, as I'm going all crazy, The Psychology of Money, just finished that one too. People raved about that one. I thought it was okay. I wasn't like over the moon about that one, but it was good. I wouldn't say it was bad. But then there was this other one by also my friend Christine Luken, Manage Money Like a Boss. So I've been going through these books, and there's another one that's I haven't gotten through yet. That's Tony Robbins. He doesn't know how to write short books. This is like a 600-page book. It's I don't know. It's the money something. I don't remember what it is. It's a very, very long book. Haven't gotten through it yet. Anyway, so we're talking. It was funny because I was been going through these books. I have a guy who wanted to have a coaching session with me. He's not a coaching client. He just was asking if he could bend my ear for a little bit, and I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that for anybody. So we were getting into a lot of conversation about what it was, what his vision was, what his vision for his life was, which they do with everybody. What is it you're wanting to accomplish? He thought he wanted to get into rental properties. He wants to do all this different stuff with real estate. And so finally I said, okay, that's great, but what is it you're trying to accomplish? Why does it have to be real estate? And again, I use this analogy all the time. If you woke up tomorrow morning with $300 million in your bank account, what are you going to say? No, 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 sir. Take that money back. I didn't make that, in real estate. Of course not. I mean, he would happily go on with his life. So the point was, what are you going on? What are you going to accomplish in your life with that? So and as he's telling me, it was a very scattered thing. And he was just, well, I want to make more money and I want to make more money. I'm like, yeah, but what for? What's the money for? Well, he was just stuck on that. He wanted to make more money, but he couldn't articulate what he wanted to make more money for. And I finally asked him, I said, so what is your relationship like with money? And deadpan, the guy says, well, we're seeing other people right now. I'm sorry, that was the best one. I asked him for permission. I won't say his name. I asked him for permission to see if I could say that on the show. He goes, yeah, man, that's cool, but we're seeing other people. We're broke up. Or actually, Money broke up with me. Money's seeing somebody else right now. Anyway, but in my own case, I'm going back to my own story here for just a second, but in my own case, I wanted out of debt really, really badly. And in this guy's case, and in my case too, I would constantly go through this debt, payoff, debt, this continuous cycle of debt, payoff, debt, and keep getting back into more debt and then paying it off and getting back in this debt cycle over and over and over again. It was super frustrating. I'm thinking, man, and this is back even when I was working in the corporate world. I worked for Marriott as an assistant controller. I worked in the accounting department. And, and my job, like his, I loved the Marriott. I think the Marriott's a wonderful company, but it just was not a good job for me. I felt like it was a dead end. It just was not very fulfilling for me, pushing paper from one end of the desk to the other. And for him, it was very much the same way. So my plan was similar to his, that, I got into real estate thinking that I was going to have all this freedom. I was going to make all this money, and come to find out, I ended up actually in more debt because I got stuck on this idea of, there was good debt and bad debt. Now, I'm not going to get into that argument right now. I've heard all the arguments. I have a degree. My degree is in accounting and finance, so I totally get it. I understand, the whole good debt, bad debt thing. But when you have too much of it, all of it's bad debt. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going through this battle of, getting into real estate, and I'm leveraging up, and I'm getting more and more debt, and I'm trying to pay it off a little bit. But what I came to realize is that, it didn't really matter that, and as I was reading this book, Money is Emotional, I came to realize why I was having so many money issues is because I was always approaching, and it's true, we approach finance, and finance is taught as if it's a math problem. Personal finance is taught as if it's a math problem. And of course, math is involved. Math, it's the rules upon which personal finance operates. But the problem is, money is an emotional problem. You might know exactly what you have to do until you're facing, your guard is down and you're going in the store and you're like, oh man, those are those shoes I've really, really wanted for a really long period of time. And I've got the money in my account, but I'll just go ahead and do it now. And, I'll pay myself back I'll pay it off when I get my paycheck, right? Which doesn't happen. And then of course, that's how the cycle of debt repeats itself. I was the same thing. I would do all the self-sabotaging behavior. And that was that point in time that I realized that that finance, especially personal finance, isn't so much a math problem as it is an emotional problem, a personal problem. And one that, that I had to recognize that here I was living in scarcity, thinking the opposite of scarcity was abundance. And I had, at this point in time, I probably had 25 or 30 rental properties. And I just wanted more for the sake of wanting more. If I had stayed at that point in time and not tried to grow, my life would have been markedly different if I had just deleveraged that portfolio. I mean, I would have, at that point in time, I probably had about $25,000 to $30,000 a month coming in rental income. I don't know, by most people's standards, that actually would have been pretty good because I wouldn't have had to work very much. But because I was stuck on stupid, because I was thinking the opposite of scarcity is abundance, when opposite of scarcity is actually enough. And that was something that was that was my big takeaway. Well, one of the big takeaways that I got from The Psychology of Money, that book that I mentioned earlier. So there's a quote in that book which I thought was really, really valuable to share, and I'm going to share that. I'm going to wrap this up. But Warren Buffett, he didn't actually say it in these words, but it was something similar to what he said. But in the book, the author says, "There's no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and you don't need." And I thought, man, that is so good. That was so good, and it tied into really so much of all the risk and stuff that I was taking for so little payoff, just for the sake of growing because my mindset wasn't right. So this guy, fortunately, he was willing to hear me and he understood what I was talking about. He's considering coaching, but anyway, that's I thought that was amazing that he said that and was able to be authentic in terms of listening. And he says, "Yeah, man, you're right." He's like, "It's hard for me to hear that, but you're 100% right." He says, "I can blame my job all I want, but at the end of the day, it's all on me. I've made." These are all the decisions that I've made and I got to live with them. And I said, exactly right. This is where you're at right now, is the cumulative effect of all the decisions that you have made up to this point, and you get to own that. And he did. So I give him lots of credit. All right. Well, that's all I have, everybody. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I've got a busy weekend planned, but nothing too super crazy. But if you'd like to connect, you can go to landlordcoach.com/connect. And that's all I have. So if you are... If you happen to get this book by Christine Luken, Money is Emotional, let me know. Let me know what you think about it. All right, everybody, please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome weekend. See you next time. Take care.